lecturers mostly already use mixed mode between synchronous and asynchronous. In the beginning, everyone was just moving the classroom into Zoom, into WebEx, into Meets, Google Meets, and others, which make the cost of internet connection become very unbearable to students. Going to the second week, third week, the mixed mode become more and more practical. So the delivery synchronous mode is only limited, and then followed by asynchronous chat and email. The application was used Zoom, Google Meets, and others. In terms of readiness, yeah, about 60% of students say they are ready, and the understanding or the way that the lecture delivered and received by students, it is quite surprising that almost 70% say that it is okay. So that means the delivery is okay, as well as the lecture quality is relatively good. This is surprising given the fact that it is a very short time to prepare for everything from offline into online. The teaching material also is relatively good, very good and fair, but the problem is with the connectivity, poor connectivity, costly connectivity, no connection at all. So this is the problem of coverage of the internet. So the advantage of the online learning for students, it is a new experience, as well as they don't need to go to campus, more flexible, more relaxed. But the problem is mainly with the poor connection and unstable connection and the cost of connection. What is interesting is that the preparedness of students with their achievement in learning is correlate very positively, while the poor connection does not much affect the understanding or the performance of the students. So this is a good news somehow, although the connection is poor, but so long as the teaching materials is prepared well and delivered to the students, it makes things better. And also the preparedness of teachers and the quality of the materials correlate positively with the student understanding of the course and their achievement. Yet students still prefer offline compared to online because it is more friendly. They can meet friends and also meet their professors more closely when they go offline. And those that prefer for online are those that is more ready with the online learning. So this is what we found in the past semesters. We see that the most important factors is the student readiness, staff readiness, and teaching materials. So we put intervention on those aspects. We prepare in the past 2 months to train, to retrain, or to refresh our professor and lecturers with online learning, how to better make use of the technology. And the most problem is the internet infrastructures. But education is not just teaching, not just knowledge, but we have to put meaning in educations. And in addition, university is not only about teaching, also about research, development of new knowledge, and also the community empowerment, community services as the 3 role of university. So in the time of pandemic, in addition to the online learning, which students can actually take courses not only from their own campus, but also can take lecture from other campus, fully transferable credit. The system's already there and even encouraged. Students can also take part in the humanitarian volunteerism. So they can join the Red Cross, they can join the national effort to mitigate the pandemic and other activity. And thirdly, they can also have projects. So project-based learning can be conducted even if they work from home. So student projects activities. And fourthly, applied research. In the past 5 months, thousands, more than 1,000 innovation inventions come out from university. Applied research resulted in many things. I will tell you later. So this is what students did and still doing now. Many students join voluntarily into the health and medical effort in this pandemic mitigations. We open a voluntary call, and more than 15,000 students from health, medical faculties, as well as nurse, public health, pharmacy, psychology, midwifery, and other fields of health related. Within 3 days, 15,000 students subscribed to join in these voluntary activities. This is very encouraging. And they get a training for 3-day full online training by experts from WHO, from Ministry of Health, and many specialists, doctors, physicians, for them to be able to help with like tracing, like communications, providing informations and educations to the community. So this is, I think, the largest online training I've ever joining myself. So 3-day full online, participated by more than 15,000 students. And we also prepare volunteer curriculum. So although they conduct this voluntarily, but we prepare some sort of curriculum, especially for the medical students, so they can take credit from what they do as a volunteer. So they learn about the epidemiology, they learn about communications, they learn about tracing, they learn about many aspects of their voluntary works. So this can be taken as part of their competencies in completing their degree. And we deploy them in many activities. Those that already have preferred to take patients, we deploy them into the Ministry of Health, and others are working from either their home or their own campus to help with the tracing, screening, and promoting for the mitigation of pandemic through online. For non-medical students, they also volunteer in many ways, like preparing for making hand sanitizer, making disinfectants, protective clothing, face shields, masks, and many things that they distribute to the community, to hospitals, to neighborhoods, and many social activities. So this is very good activities conducted by students during this pandemic. And for those activities, they get credit. This is just some illustration of what they do. They still put the protocol in place, but they conduct many activities, social activities, voluntary activities, and doing goods for their neighbors and for the society. And on research, as I mentioned, to our record, more than 1,600 creations coming out from universities during this past pandemic. So research is very active during this pandemic, even more than in the normal situations, from developing a simple sanitation chamber, disinfectant chamber, into smart chamber using artificial intelligence, using Internet of Things, use of AI for detection of the coronavirus, use of drone in monitoring the neighborhood, development of air filter based on water filter, modified water filter, drone, development of robotics to help the nurse, so robo nurse or nurse robot, and many new devices, rapid tests. This all comes out from university in the past 5 months. Even all this record, these photographs, I take just 2 months after the pandemic was announced and work from home started. And also ventilators. More than 10 ventilators come out from universities from the sample based on the open source resources, as well as the most advanced ventilators already come out from university in the past 5 months. Many, for the simpler one, already passed the clinical tryout and already being produced. So this is for the first time I see within 2-3 months, the research not only stay at the laboratory, not only stay in library, but goes into productions. Many already go into production and hundreds already being used in many of the hospitals to treat for patients. From simple ICU for the simple ventilator for the ambulance, for instance, up to the ventilator for ICU to take patients under the unconscious condition. So this is a very encouraging results. Lessons that we see from this pandemic, actually the pandemic not only create problems, but it challenged universities, it challenged higher education institutions, it challenged all of us academicians, students to make use of their creativity. So it energized the creativity, the creative energy of the universities during this pandemic. So it becomes the stressor for the researchers, lecturers, professors to put the best that they can do to give solutions for these conditions. So work from home does not mean we become less productive, even we are getting more productive. Like this seminar, we do seminars now almost every day. There are webinars in many topics, many issues, as well as in research and publications. The publications also improve significantly in terms of number, in terms of coverage, and thousands of invention and innovation resulted from these activities. So the spirit of Gotong Royong, working together to give solutions, to help each other is very strong during this pandemic. And looking for the next terms, next semesters toward the new normal, we have to maintain the good practice that already there. We have to keep the spirit alive, to keep the creative energy alive, and both in education and in research. We have to improve the use of online learning and teaching and enrich student learning experience, and not only through online, but also through many voluntary activities, independent project, as well as research. And this is the training that we provide. More than 100,000 lecturers already take this online course on online education or online teaching, both in the use method of delivery, in the assessment and the management of learning through online learning. We also upgrade the learning materials by providing some grants for academicians, for professors to update the modules to be put in the National Repository in Spada. With regard to the internet connection, now we work closely with internet providers as well as the Ministry of Communications to provide free internet access for our students and lecturers with a better coverage and better quality. So I think that's all I would like to share with you. And with the praise for blessing from God Almighty, I announce this seminar open. May this seminar make a productive results and co-creations between participants. Thank you very much. Terima kasih. Arigatou gozaimasu. Kupon, come on. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much. Big applause for Professor Nizam. And then we will follow the discussion, and this session will be moderated by Dr. Grace Korompis. Dr. Grace Korompis is invited.
Thank you very much, Dr. Manembu. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, Rector of Universitas Samratulangi, Professor Dr. Insinyur Ellen Joan Kumat, MSc DEA, Honorable Professor Nizam, our great speaker today. Thank you for the insightful presentation, Prof. We have heard all the presentation and all the information. I would like also to again welcome you and all other participants and all other distinguished speakers, Professor Suyoshi Usagawa, Professor Tanda Win, and Dr. Sukbatar. Now we are going to the question and answer session. But since we have started this presentation without hearing the CV of our presenter, please allow me to read short bio of Professor Nizam. I hope everyone wouldn't mind of this. Most of us have known Professor Insinyur Nizam, Master of Science, DIC, PhD. Professor Nizam is the current Director General of Higher Education in Indonesian Ministry of Education and Culture. Professor Nizam has been a professor in Faculty of Engineering Universitas Gadjah Mada since 2007, and he was Dean of the Faculty from 2018 to 2020. Previously, Professor Nizam was Executive Secretary of the Board of Higher Education from 2008 to 2013, and he was also appointed as Director of the National Assessment Center from 2013 to 2018, Chair of the Indonesia Higher Education and Research Network, and Board Member of Global Development Learning Network Asia Pacific. Our speaker today was a visiting professor at Chulalongkorn University of Massachusetts, and the United States of Global Survey, or USGS. Other professional and work experiences, including many of World Bank, ADB, USAID, and Australian government projects in Indonesia and Sri Lanka. Professor Nizam has published numerous papers and book chapters in the field of disaster management, coastal engineering, civil and environmental engineering, sustainable development, as well as in higher education. He earned Master and PhD in civil engineering from Imperial College of Science and Technology, University of London. Professor Nizam also was holding an important role in contributing the Higher Education Act of Indonesia in 2012, Medical Education Act in 2013, and Engineering Act in 2014. Professor Nizam was born in Surakarta, has a long list of publications as well as awards. One of them is Satya Lencana Karya Satya from President of Indonesia in 2012. With this bio, is a really great honor for us to have Professor Nizam, and I welcome all the questions from the participants. But I would also to give the information, since the due to the time restriction, maybe not all questions will be addressed this time. And right now, there is no questions written in the chat room yet. I'll give the time for all those who will raise question to give sign to raise hand from the chat list or from the participants list. I have now Muhammad Royhan have raised the question, have raised the hand to ask question. Probably, can I have committee or host to give chance to Muhammad Royhan and also Dr. Gustav Ratak. First, we give the opportunity for Muhammad Royhan please. All right. Maybe the participants has no in the room yet. Can I have Dr. Gustav Ratak to give the question, please?
Thank you all the especially our rector, our director general. Already I've write down my proposal. Actually, not a question. I propose that the science and technology now not only to face COVID-19, but also I believe the after pandemic there will be a lot of change in people behavior. The change how to look for better life, the change how to look better role in the community, and I believe I've written in the chat room, not only Wi-Fi tower. Actually, this is needed badly in Indonesia now, in every country, how to increase the level of education. There's no doubt for that. But also in business, the science and technology to support the way businessmen do their business must be changed. And I believe there are a lot of, what do you call it, Grace? Pakar in English. There are a lot of, yeah, there's a lot. There are a lot of pakar in Indonesia and pakar in this meeting to help people, businessmen in Indonesia to change their business. Let me give an example. The traditional market, it's a stage for big transmission of COVID-19, and it should be changed to be business in online, the way online business. I propose that all the Kementerian Koperasi or Departemen Koperasi should take part in this change. They have to buy all the goods and things in the traditional market and go to the people who need the goods and things there, and then do it as an online business. So there will be the developing a lot of driver online. There are a lot of new jobs made after pandemic. Thank you, Dr. Grace. Thank you, Sensei Luther, for giving me chance to get into this discussion.
Thank you, Dr. Gustav Ratak. Dr. Gustav Ratak is a lecturer in Faculty of Medicine. It's a great insight. I'll give the time for Professor Nisam probably to give comments about this Please, Professor Nizam.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think it's a very interesting comment and very much in tune with what I thought. In this time of pandemic, every adversity actually comes with its opportunities. So it's up to our creativity how to make the adversity to become an opportunity for us to hack this pandemic as a springboard to jump to the next level of development. For instance, the fact that we can transform the educations to online within a very short period shows that the agility of our lecturers is very, flexibility and agility is very high. And the fact that within a few months, many products come out from universities show that we are actually very creative in doing things. It's a matter of how to make use of this energy to become productive. So our next homework will be a big homework, how to revive the economy. Now the economic situation is very weak, and it needs all of us to work together, especially through our students. Every year we have around 1.7 million graduates. With the current situation of job markets, it will be hard for them to get into the job market. So we have to prepare them with the power of creativity, with the spirit of entrepreneurship, and also to link them with the small and medium enterprises, to make a startup, and to digitalize the economy. It's a very good time for us to move to a digital economy and to move into innovation-driven economy through the activities of research and development in campus, and through our students with the spirit of Campus Merdeka, they can take the technology, the development from university to improve the economy from the farmers, like post-harvest, through the small and medium enterprises, micro enterprises, to make them into digitalized value chain, supply chain. This will be the time actually to do that. I have contacted with the Ministry of Cooperation and Small Medium Enterprises, with the Ministry of Desa, Ministry of Village Development, with the Ministry of Industry, how to join hand together and make university as the spring for economic recovery. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Nizam, for the comments. And actually, we have several questions coming to the chat room privately, but since the time has not allowed us to do that, I think we are going to end the session. On behalf of all participants and the committee, I would like to deliver our high appreciation to Professor Nizam for your time and your valuable information on this webinar. And of course, we wish the best for your responsibility in higher education field, as well as your other endeavors. Before I send this floor back to the MC, I would like to ask the committee to deliver the certificate of appreciation to Professor Nizam. Please, committee, to do that.
Yeah, I say thank to Professor Nizam. Professor Nizam, thank you for your response.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Nizam, glad to see you.
Please, the
Hello,
committee to deliver the certificate of appreciation.
Thank you so much for your presentation, Nizam.
Hi, Pak Robert.
Yeah, let me, on behalf of the committee and Rector of Samratulangi University, let me deliver to you our certificate of appreciation for contributions to this seminar. Thank you very much, Nizam. All the best.
Thank you, Pak Robert. All the best to all of you. Stay healthy, stay productive.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Prof.
much.
Ellen.
All the best. Keep healthy.
Stay healthy. All the best.
Thank you.
Allow me
Thank
to
you.
leave. Thank you.
All right, with that, we're going to end the session. And of course, we are keep praying. May God bless of us, all of us. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, and I'm handing the time back to our MC, Dr. Indri Manembu.
Thank you, Dr. Grace. And thank you also for your attention that show you are interested participating in this event. Then we will follow 3 presentations in a row, which will be delivered by 3 speakers who are very competent in their fields. And this session will be moderated by Dr. Sari Paturusi. To Dr. Sari, please, the time is yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Indri Manembu. Good morning. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Distinguished guest, Rector of University Samratulangi, Professor Insinyur Ellen Joan Kumaat, all the distinguished speakers, Prof. Nisam, Prof. Suyosi Usagawa, Professor Tandawin, and Dr. Otgon Setsek Sukbaktar, Chair of the committee, Professor Robert Molenar, and all members of the committee, ladies and gentlemen, we will continue to the next session. And before the presentation begins, please allow me to introduce the presenter. Our next presenter, Professor Suyoshi Usagawa, Trustee and Vice President Kumamoto University, Kumamoto, Japan. And he was joined Kumamoto University in 1983, right after he received an Master Engineering degree from Tohoku University. In 1988, he received a Doctor Engineering from Tohoku University, and since 2004, he has been a professor and he is a member of the IEEE, ASA, ASG, INCEG, GSET, and GSAI. He is interested in e-learning contents and systems and acoustic signal processing. Ladies and gentlemen, and now he would like to deliver talk about paradigm shift of education under COVID-19, process and outcomes at Kumamoto University, Japan. Just like in the previous session, and for the next session after this, the speakers will deliver the talk for approximately 20 minutes, and after that, we will have a question and answer session. For those who would ask a question, please use the chat feature in this room, and the committee will decide which questions will be addressed accordingly. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I would like to welcome the presenter to deliver the presentation. Professor Usagawa, please, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Sari. Nice to see you. And first of all, I would like to express my sincere thanks for the Professor Ellen, the director of the UNSAT, because of this is a great opportunity to join this conference. And also, I would like to express the very informative presentation for the DGH, the Professor Hizam. And I think it's a very many interesting point. And the similar thing is between the Japan and the Indonesia, as well as some difference in between, which is shown in my talk. So let me shift to the screen share. I hope you will see the screen. Dr. Sari,
Yes,
can you see? Okay, thank you
Yes.
very much. Okay. My talk is well before and after not yet after, but under the COVID situation, and including the former experiences in our university. Before this March, in December last year, we are just watching the situation in China and worrying the border control concerning the student faculty mobility. We are going to accept some international student from the big China, and also some member has the planning to join the conference they held in China, and the border control seems to be a bit difficult. And the situation is drastically changed over January and February. And the border control slowly affected the international activity, as you know very well. And for example, the very close to my labo, in January, a student presented a paper at the ACM conference in the North Japan. It was the international conference on the e-learning related. And many delegates, including the Europe, the Germany and France and so on and so forth, so they came, and very ordinary international conference was held in late January. Though situation was changed. At that time, my student was submitted the domestic meeting for the first and the second week of March, and two others they submitted to the international conference in Singapore in April 2023. And the papers, all four papers was accepted, but the situation is changed in the March. Domestic conference, two conference was held a free web-based meeting, and they are not allowed to come to the venue. And actually there is no venue. And meeting of the international conference in Singapore is changed also. And the committee, they asked my student to join the conference via Zoom at the time of the March 16. The email said, the immigration of Singapore has stopped issuing the new visa to the People's Republic of China because of my student came from China. So he is not yet allowed to get into Singapore. And another paper was submitted by my student, the PhD candidate from Indonesia. Because ASEAN the community, he don't have, he are not going to ask any visa at all, but 3 weeks later, the early April, they completely shift to the web-based. And at that time, many universities in Japan start to prepare the web-based lecturing, mostly the Zoom or the WebEx during the first and the second week of March. And well, I need to mention a little bit about the fiscal year system and semester system in Japan. It's not the same as Indonesia. We have the closing the second semester by the end of the February, and graduation ceremony on March, and new intake is April. So this is the kind of the gap month for the semester. And the fourth week of March and early April. The last week of March, National Institute of Information, the NII Japan, which is under the Ministry of Education, and they provided the academic, internet, so-called SciNet. And they launched series of cyber symposium for the sharing the knowledge of the process and for preparing a distance learning at the Higher Education Institute on March 26th and continue up to now even. And our university decided to cancel both the graduation ceremony planned the March 25th and entrance ceremony on the April 4th at the time of the second week, I think, the March. So every activity seems to be freeze at that time. But we need to prepare for education. We started to design the schedule of the web-based education for the spring semester 2020, differing the experiences of the earthquake in the April 2018. Some of the members know we Japanese suffer the many earthquake, same as the Indonesian, and serious earthquake magnitude 7 was twice attacked in the April 2018. At that time, we make the comparison between what the same, what the different. And COVID-19 was well, not the exact day, but the major impact is in the country is March 2020, but the earthquake is the 14th of the 16th of April, and it's well, very luckily, after the first lecture, we made the entrance ceremony and we made the orientation already, and all the lecture was at least once delivered at the time of the earthquake. And at that time, the ICT environment is very similar to up to now. School information system, we call it Soseki, and LMS is able to provide all the service by the single sign-on system. And the student readiness is quite different. At the earthquake, we made a first week lecture. So the all students, including a fresh, they were able to use the single sign-on system to access the LMS and system, information system. But for COVID-19 case, no fresh student can use SSO. And faculty readiness is the different story. Earthquake case, we are planning to resume the classroom and face-to-face education can be made after the 4 weeks of the first attack. But this time, all the faculty must be ready for the distance education, via web-based application. So this is quite different. And also until when is unpredictable for COVID. I think it's a third issue, but also it's a big chance for us. So and about the background of the readiness, I want to refer to today's MC, Dr. Saris, paper, published the Journal of Education, March 15th. She made a survey at the UNSRAT, and she made a comparison face-to-face and the blended learning. And this is the data. Students finally is very ready for the e-learning. This is the somebody call me? No, can I continue?
Okay, please continue, Professor.
Okay. The 41% of the student is very positive for ready for the e-learning. However, situation is similar to us as well. But 6 years ago, the faculty member is not so confident. Only 50% above is the answer ready for the e-learning. There is many issues, the platform, the equipment, but generally, the student is more ready. And about the readiness of the fresh student for the Kumamoto case, most of the students have an internet connection and the devices, PC or a smartphone, mobile phone. And we made some survey for the questionnaire-based survey for the 4,000 students. They replied. This is about the 40% of the whole student body of our university. And we provide the, some PC and mobile router who has a difficulty to connect the network. And also we do provide the orientation the second and the third week of the April to provide a minimum access method for the single sign-on system for the all fresh students. And also we allow to all the students to make a credit registration over the school information system April 21st, the day for the starting web-based lecture. Beforehand, for the security reason, we asked all the students to use this system on campus only. Issue was the faculty for us. All lecture, including a part-time lecturer, they need to be ready for the web-based lecture, but we don't have much time for the prepare. So we have to have some strategic way to give the to reduce the stress for them. We choose a Zoom because of the widely use, same as the intonation for the as the Professor Nisam showed the 33% of the using this tool. And there was the security risk at the time, but we think we are able to control by the systematic combination with the single sign-on based the learning management system. And we provide the seminar or the early April, and then we also provide the local cyber symposium on the and already the 6th time was delivered. And this is what we have done. The time is running away, so we are going to skip the some of the minor point. For the introduction seminar, we provide all the lecture being the student at the time, and how to share the Zoom ID and also the password and how to deliver the talk over the web. And because of the lack of the internet, the bandwidth is very much worried. Not only us, but also the whole nation, because of the massive use of expected, and the load is quite high, even the very early stage of the April. So we ask all the lecturer to record the Zoom lecturing and store the video on demand server and linked from the learning management system, because of the to make a guarantee all the students they are able to take a lecture or synchronous way or at least asynchronous way. This is our policy, no one behind in this occasion. And also we open the Zoom help desk, and we provide the all the lecture, how to operate the Zoom as a lecture. So they set up the scheduling and share the information and connect, and the dummy talk with the screen sharing like now. And this is quite I think they are well helpful, I think, at the time, but they are faculty, our faculty are consider maybe most of them we can make it by themselves, but actually request was very limited, the small number, but after that we have the bunch of the question mails to the help desk, and mostly we need to keep helping until the end of the August. And another point, the readiness at the May is as I mentioned, the VOD, and we made a local symposium, and our president, Professor Harada, they mentioned about the educational DX, the digital transformation, and this is the kind of the keyword of for the paradigm shift. And then at the time, the Minister of Education of Japan provided some liquidity and the rule for the web-based education. So we are mentioning. And about the this the seminar, we provide some practicing even the language class of the over internet. And the second week, we discuss about the final examination. It's a kind of the issue, how to make the proper grading and how to prevent the cheating. It is possible, and it was unfortunately happened in some limited occasion, but this is still the issue of the thing. And also we make a discussion about the massive course at the Faculty of Law. It's about the 200 students, class was connected. And then until when it's not predictable, so we need to keep working for under this situation, but also I think there is some advantage, merit to use this environment. And we should use this kind of the occasion for the changing a paradigm for the education at the university. Well, actually we are the almost second wave, and it seems to be ending at this moment, but well, because of the winter is ahead, so we will have the another wave, maybe October or November, so that we need to always keep mind. And there is a many attractive point of the West-based learning, but I don't think we are not able to return the before COVID way, like the fully face-to-face lecture, because of the student as well as the faculty got the merit. Let's see what we got. The first one is a synchronous lecture. Well, students are very encouraged to ask the lecturer via chat for like today. So chatting is able to record it, and the student is rather easy to ask the lecturer about the contents. And the second one is asynchronous usage of the within a seminar. It's because of we have the video or the lecture. This is a huge asset of the university as well as for individual lecture. And potential future usage, these data will be a very important issue. I mean the asset for us. So the recorded video we can use for the coming semester and change the paradigm, as well as those records can be a showcase of the lecture for the other lecturer. Because of the formally, it is not so easy to take a look of the other lecturers, the courses when teaching at the class. So it is completely closed. And some data, the number of the data that we have is we have for the first semester, 2,000 courses, and more than half will use the Zoom-based. Some other experiences and it is required face-to-face training thing. So also the 100% of the general education for the fresh and the sophomore is well delivered the Zoom. So this chart is green was the total amount of the VOD. It's almost 2.5 tera already, but every month we have more than 1,000 video stored on our VOD server. So this is the kind of huge asset to analyze in the future. So this is the key is the DX of the education, and we need to consider the instructional design to design the new type of the education. And what I want to emphasize the education now, big data can be used for the learning analytics for the to make the PDCA cycle for the improve our education. So it's my last slide, and sorry it takes a long time. I didn't mention much about the copyright, but actually copyright handling is a big issue, especially the using a video, and in Japanese the copyright law. But we are not able to stay still in the before COVID. So this I would say that it's a unavoidable paradigm shift. Okay, thank you very much for your time, and sorry for the using all my time.
Well, thank you very much, Professor Usagawa, for the insightful presentation. And now we would like to move on to the question and answer session.
Thank you, Usagawa-san.
We have a question from Ms. Maureen Kumaunang. Professor Usagawa, as we face unprecedented disruption with our normal activity, do you have a guidelines for preparing quality assurance process?
Okay, actually we don't have the clear written document yet, and that's why we need to make a local cyber symposium to share our practices. But our government, the Minister of Education, provide the liquidity, clear liquidity about the provide credit over the web-based education. So that's a minimum. So the implementation is course by course, or field by field. It changed. For the medical schools, they are not able to avoid the actually the hospital training at all, and the education is the same. So it's a very much valid, but the minimum requirement is shown by government.
Ibu.
Professor Usagawa, thank you for your presentation. Sorry,
Thanks
I have
so much.
Another meeting. See you again in Manado.
Hopefully. Thank you very much.
Okay, so the previous question from Mr. Donald Porayo, De La Salle University. And our last question, as it is said that this is the era of sharing economy, as it is also with higher education, where more and more subjects going online, we need to develop also sharing education system that will give more freedom to students to develop their learning mode, such as a customized way of education. So Professor Usagawa, what is your view in that issues?
Okay, we are also considering those things, and sharing economy for the university is sharing the learning contents or the educational resources among the student, other university, as well as the society. So what we have on video, we are able to take a look of the those video, or they make a showcase for the public people to in which part can be used for the specific group or specific university. So I think beforehand we don't have much detail, but except the syllabus. But the syllabus is not able to provide the sufficient information for collaboration. So I think they are still they are under the discussion, but there is a many chances among the various educational institute, including a university. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Professor Usagawa. Please apologize for those who have sent questions but cannot be fully responded this time. And with that, this session is going to be ended. On behalf of all participants and the committee, I would like to convey our high appreciation to Professor Tsuyoshi Usagawa for your time and valuable information on this webinar. Ladies and gentlemen, we will move on to the next session. Let me introduce our speakers. Professor Tandawin.
Excuse me, moderator, Dr. Sari.
Okay.
Can I deliver our certificate of appreciation for Professor Usagawa at this time?
Oh, okay. So
Professor
now,
Usagawa, from the committee, I would like to convey our great appreciation for your contributions and willingness to share your views in this symposium or seminar. And by this time, let us present to you our certificate of appreciation. Even it is virtually, but then we will deliver it to you by email. And by that, Professor Usagawa, let me say, arigato gozaimasu. Shita. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih. Terima kasih.
well, ladies and gentlemen, we will move on to the next session. Let me introduce our speakers, Professor Tandawin from Yangon Technological University, Myanmar. She graduated PhD degree from Yangon Technological University, and she has been working as a professor in Department of Computer Engineering and Information Technology, Yangon Technological University since 2014. Her specialization is information security. And now she would like to deliver the presentation about current activities of transforming teaching and learning process in technological universities Myanmar during COVID-19 pandemic. I invited Prof. Tandawin. The time is yours. The host, please to unmute Prof. Tandawin. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, good.
Okay. Hello.
Yes, please.
Yes, please, Prof. Tanda.
Yes. Okay. Good morning. Nice to meet you all. First of all, I would like to say very thank you the responsible persons from UNSIT and Professor Usagawa Sensei for inviting to present this webinar. Today, I would like to talk about how we technological universities are preparing for transforming teaching and learning process during COVID-19 pandemic. Before I talk preparation in our university, I would like to introduce the conditions of our country. In Myanmar, most of the universities use traditional teaching style, face-to-face teaching and learning, but some universities, actually a few universities use LMS in postgraduate program rather than undergrad program. This university used LMS before pandemic. I'd like to talk about the impact of COVID-19 pandemic, especially in higher education sector. In our country, according to academic calendar, most universities are exam period from that week of March to first week of April. In Myanmar, the first case was confirmed on March 23. At that time, some universities are exam period and some universities are still preparing for exam. So on March 24, all universities are closed and exam in university was stopped at that time. According to government policies, some universities and schools are used as quarantine center. As you all know, there are so many migrant workers, especially to Thailand and China. So most universities in Yangon are used as quarantine center. In my country, actually June in every year is a school opening period from primary, middle, and high school. So our Ministry of Education, focus on to reopen for middle and high school in August. So schools are not used as a quarantine center, and most universities in all over the country are used as quarantine centers. In Myanmar, there are 33 technological universities. Among them, in Yangon Division, there are 4 technological universities, including YTU. In Yangon Division, except YTU, other 3 technological universities are used as quarantine center. Similarly, in Mandalay Division, there are 6 technological universities, including Mandalay Technological University, Some other universities are in remote areas, so these universities are struggling for electricity and internet access. This slide is during pandemic, the current preparation of technological university are preparing for their teaching materials and during COVID-19 pandemic. Actually, all universities are not ready for preparing the teaching material because electricity and some universities are remote area. So these universities and 19 universities can prepare the teaching and learning materials, including video clip, and also supervision with online. For online supervision, our university use Microsoft Teams, and sometimes we use the Google Meet. I would like to express the status of YTU students because it is needed to know the actual status of the students for transforming teaching and learning. So I collected the data from students for their condition for teaching and learning process. 335 respondents answered the questions in 14 different disciplines for an undergraduate program. Among them, out of 335 respondents, nearly 85% can use ICT usage. Some cannot use the ICT tools such as a little difficulties for PC and laptop, something like that. As for living area and electricity, 65% are living in urban and some are living in rural area. In Myanmar, in rural area, we have struggling especially the electricity. So nearly about 87% are available electricity area. According to the data collected, the internet connection, internet accessibility, over 57% of the respondents can use internet well. Unfortunately, part of the respondents cannot afford more than $1 per day for internet access for teaching and learning online. Now I would like to highlight the online learning experiences for learners. According to the results, nearly about 53% of the students have experience in online learning since they join the online training or online short-term courses for further studies during pandemic. Now, I would like to focus some activities during pandemic at YTU. YTU is an urban area among technology-based universities. Although all universities are closed, all student staff and all teaching staff are performing their duties remotely or office. For master program and postgraduate program, discussion, supervision, progress seminars are continuously carried out during pandemic. Similarly, for undergraduate programs, for final year students, they need to go to internship in first semester, and in second semester they have to do their graduation thesis work. At the start of the pandemic, the students have already come back from internship program and they are ready to start the graduation thesis. During the pandemic, during the COVID-19 pandemic, the students can do their weekly seminar, progress seminar, entrance seminars, and so on via online. For first year to final year students, some other online trainings such as machine learning training or SCP analytic cloud training to participate in ASEAN competition for data science. We celebrate these kind of trainings in our university via online. Our university provides so many training via online, such as e-learning management system, including how to design and prepare e-learning course effectively, how to recording video lecture using Camtasia or learning management systems such as Microsoft Teams, Moodle, Google Classroom. Our university provide, and also we also provide the other technological universities such kind of training to equality for teaching and learning process. Other educational talks and internet quality assurance seminars are also held in this spirit during COVID-19. I would like to express our network campus infrastructure. Currently, our university MPT internet service provider provides 300 megabit per second with fiber line, and NimaNet provides 20 megabit per second for Wi-Fi. This is our currently infrastructure. Actually, before COVID-19, we have just only 200 megabit per second. During COVID-19, we already agreed to 300 megabit per second for internet access. During COVID-19 pandemics, we already configure model server in our physical server. There are 730 as a compute node, and there PowerEdge R430 as a storage node. We already model server last month. Currently, we already configure for authentication Azure AD integration for signing university email in YTU model. Moreover, course management and teacher management for all disciplines. All disciplines mean in our university, totally 14 engineering disciplines for undergraduate program and postgraduate program, such as civil engineering, electronic engineering, mechanical engineering, something like that. 14 engineering courses are offering for undergraduate and postgraduate. Currently, we already setting a model for just only undergraduate students. This is the first final project for undergraduate program. During COVID-19 pandemic in our country, there are so many challenges, such as poor digital awareness, weakness in digital literacy, and also weakness in digital transformation framework. Fortunately, these challenges are transformed to opportunities by preparing learning management system, Moodle or Microsoft Teams or something like that in our university. Not only in our university, some other technological universities are also prepared learning management system in COVID-19 pandemic. In Myanmar, in order to be equality for learning opportunities, governance body, university, teachers and learners are playing vital role. So currently, government body are carrying out discussion for online learning and learning opportunities, and also discussion for upgrading the infrastructure. Similarly, the university also provide many online trainings during COVID-19 pandemic, such as content preparation, how to prepare lecture contents effectively, and how to recording the lecture contents, and then learning management system also training. So many trainings are provided by our university, and also upgrading infrastructure, such as from 200 megabit per second to 300 megabit per second. Similarly, like YTU, other technological universities are also upgrading their infrastructure, not only infrastructure, but also human resource skillful to be ready for e-learning. During COVID-19 pandemic, currently teachers are very familiar with online tool usage, and also modifying the content preparation. Not only content preparation, but also video lecture by recording by themselves. For learners, they are ready online to uses. We already created for each students for university meal during COVID-19, but there are so many issues for learners, such as PC, electricity, internet access, and affordability. Because in our country, our living area, for example, rural area is electricity is the main problem. Now I would like to conclude my talk. As I mentioned before, governance body, university, and teacher, and also learners are playing vital role in order to be equality for learning opportunities. Currently, university and teachers are ready to start online learning to some extent, but if we governance body give the permission, and also learners have opportunity to approach online learning, we can start online learning in near futures. Although we have so many struggles, electricity, internet accessibility, and affordable, we can start, I hope, we can start e-learning in our university in near future. Thank you very much for all. In Myanmar, a little difference in other country, because most university cannot start learning management system during COVID-19 pandemic. We very awareness in content preparation to start the learning management system. During COVID-19 pandemic, I also train all university teachers to be ready for content preparation and to be ready for learning management system, how to use Moodle, and also how to use Microsoft Teams, something like that. Our department, Computer Engineering and Information Technology, gives so many training, and also other technological university, other organizations such as RETA committees or something like that. They also give so many trainings to improve and to upgrade the digital literacy skills, especially for teachers. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much for the nice presentation, Prof. Tandawin. So would you mind to answering this question?
Yes.
The first question from Mula Warman University, from Ms. Syahrani. How to overcome the weaknesses of lectures by using Zoom, as we cannot fully express the meaning that we teach?
Zoom.
Zoom, yes.
Yes. Actually, currently we use Microsoft Teams for seminar discussion, online training, but Zoom is just only meeting, Here, current situation, we cannot use the Zoom as a teaching tools. That's only meeting and online training. Yes, currently we use the Microsoft Teams because all teaching staff and all students have their official email, university email. Currently we use the Microsoft Teams. Zoom is just only used for meeting and seminars and webinars, something like that.
Okay, and the next questions from Asis Talib. There are two questions actually. First one, how can we continue to advance technology in the midst of the current pandemic as active and innovative young people? And the second one, how do we deal with access to technology for our education today in the new normal era, while access to technology for those in remote or remote areas is very limited? So maybe in Myanmar, we have remote areas as well as in Indonesia. So could you share about the experience in Myanmar for access to technology in remote area?
Yes. Actually, some students are living in rural area. Current situation, some students cannot access internet access. As you all know, in urban area, so many ISP providers are available. But rural area just only connect with mobile phone connection, for example, MPT or Oridu or Telenor connection. So it is very difficult to continue online system for remote area. Yes, currently we are now discussing for online learning. We have a plan to such as a blended learning for practical and some other projects are doing in face-to-face and sometimes online learning for uploading assignments. But actually, we cannot start totally online courses in Myanmar because very issues in electricity and internet access.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Tandawin. So even though we did not have an experience about online learning before, but this pandemic forced all of the educators all the world, ready or not, to do the online learning. Thank you very much for describe the learning environment at higher education in Myanmar during the pandemic. And now, please, the committee to convey the certificate of appreciation for our speaker, Professor Tandawin.
Professor Tandawin, thank you so much for your presentation.
I also very thank you.
Thank you for your willingness to share with us experience at Yangon Technological University with us. And then by that, On behalf of the committee and rector of Samratulangi University, let me present to you our certificate of appreciation. We
Thank you
proudly
very much.
present the
Thank you
certificate
very much.
to Professor Tanawin. And by that, let me say, Yuzu Patin Pate. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, our distinguished speaker, from previous session, we had listening about learning experience from Indonesia as well as from Japan and Myanmar during the COVID-19 pandemic. And for the next session, it is an honor for us to receive the learning experience during pandemic from Mongolia. Introducing our next speaker, Dr. Otgon Setsek Sukbaktar. She received her PhD degree in computer science and electrical engineering from Kumamoto University, Japan, and she is currently an associate professor at the School of Engineering and Applied Science, National University of Mongolia. Since June 2020, she has been working as head of the Center for Faculty Development and Digital Learning, National University of Mongolia. Her areas of research interest include learning analytics and educational data analysis. So ladies and gentlemen, now she would like to deliver the presentation about online learning progress, challenges and achievement during COVID-19 pandemic based on National University of Mongolia experience. Dr. Otgon Setsek, the time is yours.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sari, for the short introduction. So, good evening, and delegates and the professors and researchers and participants of the webinar, and especially my doctoral supervisor, Professor Tsuyoshi Usagawa. And I also want to thank the committee for organizing this international webinar. And okay, I will try to share. Okay, does my sound is clear?
Yes, both the sound and the presentation clear. Please continue.
The title of my today's talk is Online Learning Progress, Challenges and Achievement During COVID-19 Pandemic, based on our university experience. So first of all, I want to give a short review of our university experience. So before the pandemic, since 2012, our university started to offer small private online courses from the MOOC providers to students as a selective courses. And within this scope, our university is stated on the talk of Anand Agarwal, EDXCO, one of the 2 Asian universities in the world which used the MOOC courses as a SPOC. So also from the Japan, NHK also interviewed one of the participants of the courses and the teachers who participate in this project. So after that, from 2014, our university started to introduce blended courses for undergraduate students. We usually use a flipped classroom type for the blended courses. And in 2016, our university assessed the e-learning ratings of the students, and which is covered over 6,000 students from our university. And actually this is the 35% of our undergraduate student pool. And within this assessment, 75% of the students had the computer with the internet connection. And in terms of the self-evaluation, a majority of the students responded that their ICT skills and self-directed learning skills are in a satisfactory level. And after that, from 2016, our university started to develop and offer full online program development for the graduate students. And from 2018, our university started to the adoption and the development of learning management system, which is open source software, OpenEDX, and to integrate it with our student information system, CC. So when the COVID-19 pandemic, just like the first case were identified, our government officials announced the closure of all educational facilities. It was end of January, and all universities, colleges and schools and kindergartens and training centers were closed. And due to this closure, like all general education students and university students and training center students were supposed to continue learning activities online. And after the announcement of the closure of the universities, our university management had a briefing, and due to the official's announcement, we decided to use CC and Microsoft Office applications and OpenEDX LMS for online teaching and learning activities. And just before that, the university prepared the guidelines and instructions how to prepare the lectures and deliver them to the students. And 12 video contents were prepared in only for 2 days and delivered to all professors and lecturers online. So these instructions and guidelines were covering how to use the LMS functions on the student information system, and also how to use the how to upload the YouTube videos and mount them back to the LMS, and etc. And these guidelines were prepared only for 2 days after the decision were made. And but after the at the mid of the February, the government officials announced the closure will be extended end of the March. And to promote the online learning, we initiated the idea of applying discounts of cellular data service charges to access the university's information system and LMSs, because there will be difficulty for the students to access and engage to the learning activities online. And for that, there will be some amount of charges for using the cellular data and internet services. So all mobile operator companies have supported the idea, and during the last semester, all mobile device access to our university student system was free of charge. And the end of the February, there were some certain issues addressed in terms of this lecturers and professors course conducting. And these issues were collected and addressed for further effective learning activities, to ensure effective learning activities. And there were also some videos are prepared for the lecturers, which includes the issues and recommendations how to effectively organize their courses. And plus, best practices were identified within the professors, and these professors were interviewed for suggestions how to organize the course and deliver it efficiently. These practices were mostly based on OpenEDX LMS or Microsoft Office apps. After the fourth week of the semester started, we took an online survey through our student information system. The survey conducted between end of February to beginning of the March. And the survey participants were the students and lecturers and professors of our university. And it was to see how the activities, online learning activities are reaching to the students and what kind of difficulties our professors are facing in these first 3 weeks of the semester. And the participants were over 300 lecturers and professors. And actually this is 43% of total faculty members. And the survey also covered 7,000 students. It's more than half of the student body of our university. So from this graph, you can see that the majority of the students and the professors use the CC. This is the student information system of our university. And some portion use the Teams, Microsoft Teams to deliver the lectures. This is to deliver the learning materials, and OpenEDX learning management system is small portion, and some professors and students use the different delivery methods for their teaching and learning activities. And in terms of the student perspective, the online course content was somehow satisfied and very satisfied. But there was some also concerns about students, which is the course materials were missing or lecture videos are somehow with the disrupted video or something like that. And in terms of the lecturer's perspective, in terms of only for first 3 weeks, the majority of the professors are responded that less than half of the students are giving the feedback and doing the assessments and returning the homeworks. So this is also shows that somehow the student engagement is not that in the satisfactory level. And in the 10th of March, the first confirmed COVID case is announced in Mongolia. This was the imported case. So due to this one, even though all activities and teaching and learning activities were conducted online, after this one, the university management announced that there will be complete lockdown between the March 11 to the March 16 at the university. And actually, due to this first confirmed case in March in Mongolia, like the public and all students and everybody was afraid, a little bit shocked and a little bit afraid of the spread of the disease. But luckily, the spread is contained, and we didn't have more confirmed second spread cases in Mongolia. And in 20th of March, government officials announced the closure will remain until end of April. Actually, these closures are extended, and it is extended until the end of the semester. And due to the lack of the regulations and terminology and the requirements of how to conduct online learning is lacking in our university. And on 20th of the April, we regulated National University of Mongolia's online learning regulation. And it covered the online learning definitions and terminologies, and what kind of online course contents is required, and what kind of types will be used in the learning, and also online course content requirements, and how will be the course conducted, and the delivery methods, and how it will be evaluated. And within the end of the semester, the closure of the schools and educational facilities was still valid. So the university gave the instructions for the final examinations for both students and lecturers, and all final examinations took place online. And also final thesis defense and were conducted online, and all diplomas are delivered through postal services the mid of June. The issues and difficulties in terms of the lecturers were the content creation was so time consuming. Actually, before the pandemic started, the lecturers and students were not aware and ready for taking shift so urgently into online learning. So professors need to prepare the content from the scratch. The most of them, there were course contents prepared, but majority of the professors and lecturers need to prepare the content from the scratch. So it was also very time consuming. Probably all you know how to create the lecture videos and seminar videos, and all assessments in the LMS will take a time. And for them, there is no real communication, of course, even though they are using Teams video conferencing tool for the delivering the lecture and answering the student questions. There was no real communication. And also professors and lecturers were concerned about intellectual property and copyright issues. And from the lecturer's perspective, professors are saying that students were not quite ready for online learning. And also due to some difficulties on the connectivity and access problems, there was a low engagement in some of the courses. The majority of the students were very passive. And in terms of the students also, there was infrastructure issues, and lecturers also think that some of this assessment is not practical compared to the traditional assessments. And for the students' perspective, the students have a difficulty, because the professors using different delivery method is very troublesome, because the students are taking several courses, and the majority of them are using different delivery methods. Some of them using student information system, some of them using LMS. And they are also complaining that the communication difficulty with the lecturer is very difficult. Sometimes it's like they are using Teams, but sometimes not during the lecture time, or through the email, the difficulty to communicate with the lecturer. And some of the students also suggesting that some course materials needs to be improved. Of course, the course materials are prepared in a very short time, so we think that the materials also need to be improved. And for the students, they think that the assessment deadline is too short for doing it online, and delivering and getting feedback from the professors is too short. And also they're complaining about the difficulty to understand some of the course contents. And also infrastructure issues like connectivity and access issues, especially for the students accessing the course materials from the countryside. And also this within the academic year of 2012 to 2020-2021, also all course activities now online, as our school university management is decided to, from the beginning of the semester to 5th of October, all course activities will be conducted online. And from the October 5th, it will be blended type course conduction, which is flipped classroom type, which is lectures that will be given online using LMS or student information system, and lab and seminar works will be on the campus. And still to this date, lecturers still face the issues fully utilizing LMS and preparing efficient online course content. Also, the students have a difficulty to cope with online learning shifts. And this is our LMS, learning management system, which is now integrated with our student information system. And we also need to do the training and workshops for online content creation and LMS course authoring tools. So from this August, we started to make a training and workshop for the lecturers and professors in this matter. So actually, the urgent shift to the online learning was very difficult for our university and all around the world, but it gives some good achievements for universities all around the world, which is like trusting the universities into online learning, because previously, before the pandemic, only small portion of the university faculty members are striving to integrate online learning in their teaching activities, but now they are all forced to shift into the online learning and integrate it to their teaching activities. And due to the pandemic, development and adoption of LMS and throughput, the norm is like very very fastly shifted, and development was like super fast, and it's now almost ready to use for full online course conduction. And due to the pandemic, the last semester, many online course contents were prepared. For example, only for our Center for Faculty Development and Digital Learning, in the fall semester, 9 full online course contents were prepared. And the spring semester, 13 online course contents, full online course contents were prepared. And the good thing also, the best thing we achieved during the pandemic is the mindset change. So now professors and students understand the need and also the benefits of the online learning and how to integrate and what can be the benefits of using the information in the communication technologies in the education. So the mindset change is the best achievement in this time. It's my personal opinion. And that's all for my presentation, and thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Otgon, for the sophisticated presentation. And like I said before, this condition forced us as educators all over the world to do the online learning, ready or not. So Dr. Otgon, did you have any idea, maybe based on your experience, on how to overcome low engagement of the students to participate in the course during the online courses?
Yes, actually we took some measures against to overcome these issues, because in the last semester the students were not ready, teachers and lecturers were not ready. So because of that, there was some gap, like preparing the contents and how to effectively conduct the course. But now our LMS is fully utilized and teachers are trained. So maybe we can try to change the content, like prepare more better contents for the courses. For example, in our university, we are asking the professors to make shorter videos, because for the students, attention span is very small, like it's about the 6 to 10 minutes. So usually professors are preparing quite long videos about each section is about 20 or 30 minutes. So because of that, we made some data analysis, and we see that majority of the students are watching only about 10 of that long videos. So we ensure to better engagement, student engagement. We ask the professors who are making new videos, smaller videos, and with the professors who already made the course contents to chop down the videos in the small portions and add small quizzes after every videos, so that lecturers can see and see where the students are engaging with the videos and understanding the contents in the video, so that student can answer the quizzes and professor can track which portion of the students are understanding and are not understanding. So this will be a good example. And also usage of the video conferencing tools is very important. Actually, delivering lecture through the video conferencing tool is not good, in my opinion. The lecture needs to be prepared in the video format, and additional questions and feedbacks need to be delivered through video conferencing tools. This is my personal opinion.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Orgon. And we have another question from Arina Fril from Sriwijaya University. In terms of a preventative measure to protect Mongolian students from COVID-19 disease by suspending all educational activities in the schools, what is the current situation today as online learning result in association of emerging or non-emerging COVID-19 cases?
Okay. Actually, till now, our country, Mongolia, doesn't have a how to say active case, COVID case in through the country. What does it mean is only the cases were reported in Mongolia are imported cases, and they are contained in the hospitals. Mm-hmm. So due to that, it's a bit safe for us to how to say conduct traditional classroom teaching and learning activities. But however, there is also the chance we can how the situation can be worse. So due to the measures took in the February and all educational facilities are closed, it was very difficult to in terms of students and in terms of professors to fully have to engage in the learning and teaching activities. But in my opinion, now in this semester, even though the situation is much safer in Ulaanbaatar and in Mongolia currently, but if the situation gets worse, or if we can't contain it and it will spread through the Ulaanbaatar, then I think the situation is got much better compared to the February. So professors also had ready to conduct the courses fully online, and students also prepared for this kind of activities during the last semester's experience. So I think the there will be less difficulties compared to the last spring.
Okay, thank you very much. And the last questions. What is missing in the learning condition mode during the pandemic is the academic atmosphere where mostly we need that to develop capability to build good or proper way of interaction, communication, and even collaborating among academics through a direct or offline interaction. This pushes us and challenges us to find and try to develop any innovative way in order to be able to still accommodate that academic atmosphere purpose is still intact in our learning process, as that is also the heart of the learning process of our students. So the content in our curriculum need to cover that issues. If possible, I would like to have your view on that.
Thank you so much. Actually, what we think is like the course content should be same for the traditional and online delivery, right? Because it's the part of the program. So, but we are encouraging the professors to, even though the course content is similar to the traditional classroom course materials, but the delivery should be different because traditional classroom teaching and online delivery is totally different method, and also perception is very different. So for the students to see exact same delivery method at same as at the classroom delivery, then it will make some difficulties for the students to fully understand the contents. So in my opinion, maybe if the professors want to improve the course contents for better understanding, they need to change the delivery method, not exactly as same as teaching at the classroom. So I think it will take some time to change the professors, to change the mindset, because like majority of the professors are using the slides used at the classroom, and then just give a similar talk what they give at the classrooms. So this kind of conduction will have a drawbacks for online learning. So in my opinion, the delivery need to be need to be done differently.
Okay, so it's a challenge as well as opportunity for us, all the educators, to make a online learning material. And thank you very much, Dr. Ogon. Please apologize for those who have sent questions but cannot be fully responded this time. And now, please the committee to deliver the certificate of appreciation for our speaker, Dr. Ogon.
Professor Ogon, I should call you a professor because all lecturers, I think, is a professor. So Professor Ogon, I thank you very much. And for that, please accept our certificate of appreciation.
Thank you so much.
As I present it here virtually, but we will deliver it to you by email.
Okay, thank you so much and organizing this webinar.
Thank you. I should say buyer's luck. Thank you very much.
With that, this session is going to be end. On behalf of all participants and the committee, I would like to convey our high appreciation to Professor Tsuyoshi Usagawa, Professor Tandawin, and Dr. Otgon for your time and insightful presentation with valuable information on this webinar. May God bless all of us. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And I'm handing the time to our MC. Please, Dr. Indri Manembu.
Thank you, Dr. Sari. Honorable speakers and the awesome participants, finally, we are coming now to the end of this webinar session. A closing speech which will be delivered by the chairperson of the committee of 59th anniversary of Samratulangi University. Respectfully invited to Professor Dr. Robert Molinar. Please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Indri Manembu. Honorable Director General of Higher Education, Ministry of Education and Culture, Professor Nizam, Honorable Rector of Samratulangi University, Professor Ellen Joan Kumaat, Honorable Professor Tsuyoshi Usagawa from Kumamoto University, Japan, Honorable Professor Tanda Win from Yangon Technological University, Myanmar, Honorable Professor Otgam Sek Subatar from National University of Mongolia, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, participants of this webinar on science and technology for better life. Good afternoon. I surely think we may claim that this is the era of webinar, where since we may be invited to so many of them in daily basis, and as this online system that supports also people even can be in more than one webinar at the same time, as this webinar too as one of them. However, it's truly been a pleasure being with you all in this webinar today. I thank you all very much. But statistically, I can present some figures that I observed that participants of the seminars are quite representative of the international community, where at least there are 16 countries of origin attending. So it is quite an international webinar, obviously. And of course, the majority are from in-country. But participants from Indonesia themselves covered all big islands in Indonesia and some small islands too. And to my surprise, majority among the Indonesian participants are from Java. That consists of more than 40% of the total 1900 something participants. It is really quite a monumental seminar that UNSRAT ever organized. And with that, I believe also that this webinar has performed a valuable function in that it has enabled experts on the many different aspects of higher education to give us their views. And as this webinar being concluded, first of all, let me invite all of us to praise and thank God Almighty for the protection by Him given so that we can run and finish this webinar in healthy condition and feeling blessed. As the organizing committee, I would like to express our deepest gratitude to the Director General of Higher Education, Ministry of Education and Culture, Republic of Indonesia, Professor Nizam, who had the pleasure to be a speaker by sharing information with us regarding Indonesia higher education challenges in facing this COVID-19 pandemic. His presentation has increased our awareness on the importance of making various innovative efforts so that the implementation of Tridharma as the mandate of higher education in Indonesia in current pandemic condition can continue with high quality. As Professor Nizam is no longer with us now, I think we already gave the certificate of appreciation for Professor Nizam. So again, we say thank you very much to Professor Nizam. And thank you also to Professor Tsuyoshi Usagawa for your willingness to share stories related to the implementation of learning process during this pandemic situation and condition with the cases at Kumamoto University. I'm sure this information becomes a valuable reference for comparison in determining the necessary improvement efforts in the implementations of the online learning processes in this pandemic era. A big thanks also goes to Professor Tanda Win for her willingness to share with us regarding the implementation of delivery methods of online learning during this pandemic by raising cases that occurred at Yangon Technological University, Myanmar. We also are very fortunate and grateful to have Professor Otgam Sek Subatar from the National University of Mongolia with us today. Thank you for your willingness to share with us information regarding the implementation of online learning processes and activities at NUM during this COVID-19 pandemic. And of course, our deepest gratitude and high appreciation also goes to Rector of Samratulangi University, Professor Ellen Joan Kumaat, who has entrusted us, the committee, to organize this activity and facilitates various things that make these events run well. And to all participants who come from various institutions, both national and international, we would like also to convey our appreciation and gratitude for your participation so that make this webinar fun and successful. For that, we provide also for each one of you certificate of appreciations for your attendance, as you did complete the form of attendance, of course. Finally, we hope that the various information gathered in this webinar can be of benefit to all of us, especially in an effort to produce a high quality learning process in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. This seminar at the same time also opens up opportunities to the development of a good network of cooperation in the implementation of learning process among higher education institutions, nationally and even abroad. Since the supporting technology becoming more and more available and visible today, that will facilitate students to take part in lectures from other universities at home and abroad. And this support the newest policy in Indonesian higher education called liberal, or I prefer to call it as progressive learning and progressive campus, or we call it Merdeka Belajar dan Kampus Merdeka. God may bless our joint efforts for that. And so I will say greetings from Manado, North Sulawesi, Indonesia, more specifically from all of us at Samratulangi University. And as a closing word, I would like to use a saying from our local language, Pakatuan lo Pakalwiran, meaning wish you all long life and good health always. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Robert. With the end of the closing speech, the international webinar, as part of the series of events of 15th anniversary of Samratulangi University, has ended. On behalf of the committee, I would like to express my gratitude for all the distinguished speakers and all the participants for your attendance and contributions. We hope that what we've got from this webinar will be useful for us to keep working productively during the new normal COVID-19 pandemic. We apologize if any inconvenience. And the last, I have two poems, pantun in bahasa. Nyiur melambai ombak berkejaran, menambah pesona keindahan lautan. Ilmu berharga sudah didapatkan, yang tidak berkenan mohon dimaafkan. Lesung pipit senyum bersemi, tegas wibawa kata dan karya. Mengusung prestasi walau pandemi, 59 tahun Unsrat semakin berjaya. Once more, thank you so much. Have a good day and see you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for your contribution.
Thank you for all of Unstrat's excellent.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you, Indri PKK dari Mongolia tadi kan, itu adik.
Thank you very much.
For committee.
Saudara, Prof. Yani, bersaudara.
Saudara dengan Indri, aduh. Begitu itu Profesor Tandamin dari Birma, saudara dan Daisy.
Ya.
Daisy pakai P2P adik.
Samso, Prof.
Unsrat.
Oh, Prof. Yani Kusen.
Ya.
Apa kabar? Baik-baik.
Baik, sehat walafiat.
Sehat ya.
Sehat walafiat.
Prof. Yani Lidah bersaudara tadi, kan?
Iya, tadi aduh, Dokter Tanda itu si Daisy pakai P2P adik.